Fellow creatives. I am making a short video tutorial on how to use the free template that you can open in Photoshop, and then there are some variations. If you don't have Photoshop, there is a PSD, there is an Adobe Illustrator, an SVG, PNG, and JPEG version of this template for free, and you can check the description for the link to download the template. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to edit this. Now, I try to keep this one simple, and I went ahead and added a layer that says place art below here. Okay, so this is where you would drag in your image. So for instance, I'm going to drag in an image. Let's do something that's going to take up the whole space. Say you had a pattern or an image that will take up the whole mask. I'm literally dragging it from my folder that I have open in another window, and I'm going to drag it and drop it right here onto my artboard. And this is a really popular style image. So what I'm making sure of is that I get my image centered. So I have this center line here, so I'm going to make sure the nose is centered there. And if I have to arrange this to where the chin is basically at the bottom of the bleed line, well, at the top of the mask edge, but above the bleed line. So the bleed line is just to the edge of the red to give you a little play when you get ready to press, so you have a little room. So that's what a bleed is. But the blue is almost precisely the measurement of the edge of the no-sew mask. So you want to make sure that your color of your image is going to reach outside, and I'm doing this on purpose because when I shrink this image down a little bit, I have a little bit of area that's not going to be covered, and it's within my bleed line, so that means that I have a chance to not have an image there. So I'm going to cut off the eyeball or the visibility for my other layer, so I see this red, and that red is letting me know that this area is not taken care of. And I can shift my image, but then my mouth is off centered. So what I would like to do is show you a really quick method to using a new layer. So come right here, grab your new layer, and just make a gradient. The gradient tool is here. If you don't see the gradient tool, it's also the paint bucket. You can hold down that down arrow and grab the gradient tool. And you want to make sure that you have selected the foreground color to transparent. And right now the foreground color is yellow from the last project I did. So I'm going to grab color from somewhere on this artboard, and I'm going to hold down Alt. And you see, as I'm holding down Alt, I'm also holding down my regular mouse button, and I'm picking a color that's already in the image. So I'm trying to pick one of these blues or something that I can fade from. So I got one of those darker blues. I'm on a new layer. I'm not on my artwork. So I can come to the inside of this graphic, and I'm going to pull color. There's going to be a gradient, so I'm going to get some fading of the color. And I want to make sure that all of this is clipped to this background layer. So even if I turn all of this off, you have the PNG that's clean, ready to go, and you saw this gradient color. Just overlap that, and I have something there. Now you see I have a little bit of red at the top of the hair. That's outside of the area. It probably won't affect, but if I really care and I want to make sure that I'm covered, then I'll go back to this layer that I added the gradient. I can hold down Alt to select maybe one of these greens, maybe a darker green so that it fades off properly. I come to the inside of the graphic, pull down, and I hold Shift if I want it to come straight. Otherwise, I can go any way I want to go. So I'm holding down Shift. And then that way it gives me a little bit of a fade off there. And this is going to be the inside of the mask anyhow. But you don't want a customer coming to you because the top half of it got a blunt line and they see white there. They think it's a misprint. So make sure that you have good enough bleed on everything. Another thing you can do if you didn't want to do that is you can Control T and stretch it out by holding down the Shift. Oh, I'm stretching the wrong image. Hold on. I'm going to go back to my Joker image. Control T. And I'm just going to pull it and stretch it, make sure that it makes that line down there. So altogether, you've learned a couple of techniques to color in and fill in where your graphics don't fit, and make sure that you have a presentable art setup. So this one is done. I'm going to do it one more time just to show you. Let's do, I'm going to go ahead and merge that down. So now you'll see that that's all one image. It's going to move together. And I'm going to bring in a new image. Now I do want to make you aware, if you turn on this guide layer here, and it says turn off to print because you definitely don't want to print with the guides on, it gives you an indication of, let me go ahead and lock these two layers so you don't move them around. So these will be locked. The only thing you can do is turn them off and on. But for this one, you want to make sure that the top line here shows pretty much where this may fold down. So you don't want to put anything important up there, not any text. This is your text and photo save area within this box. So if you have a logo, so right now we're just doing faces, but if you have a logo, you have any important message or information, you want to make sure that your most important information stays inside of this area, and that maybe your graphics apply outside of this area. Now here's an example where we're going to end up with a lot of space to take care of on the outside. So let's see how we might be able to work that. And I'm going to go ahead and create the clipping mask. So when you bring your art in, make sure that you're selected on this layer. It brings it in up top, and then you want to drag it below that layer. So once you drag it below, it will automatically clip inside of this this path for the outside. And I'm going to turn off the guide so we can see that. And I'll put these temporary guides on. That will remind us where our text safe area is. So let's turn it off, and we automatically see that we have a lot of space to take care of. So what do we do in this instance? You could do quite a few things. You can make it colorful. You can implement, here is, bring this one above. And I'm going to delete that layer mask. I'm going to create a new one. Select the inverse here. Okay, so now this layer mask is going to be pretty much a coverall. So what you'll be able to do is Control T, which is a transform. If you hold down Shift, you can squish it like you want. But essentially what I'm doing here is creating some type of fade off, so that when I put an image here, if I don't have any data or any pixels outside of that square area, it's cool, because we'll find a way to basically fade it in and make it look a little more cohesive. For this one, let me grab a white. You won't have to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and do this for you. All right, that way we have all of this here. Now this color right here is editable, so I can double click on that blue and I can make it whatever color I want. So I can pick pixels from the image here. And you notice automatically that's a pretty cool feature. You can go on about your business and make that a mask. If you want to make a gradient, I'll give you an option to do a gradient as well. Let's do layer, new fill layer. Let's do a gradient. And I'll say OK. And I'm going to put the same exact layer mask onto that one, this gradient. And I'll pick a really fun gradient for you. Maybe something that kind of goes with that Harley Quinn theme. And I'm going to choose, instead of linear here, I'm going to choose radial. No, not radial. Let's choose angle. That way we get a nice, cool little fade off here. You also have the option to choose linear, which is really popular. Let's keep it linear. That'll be pretty simple for you to understand how that works. So you have a linear gradient here. If you click on here, you can change these colors out. You just click on the color stoppers and you pick a color. So right now, I can pick the colors as in the graphics if I want to. If I change this fill down so I can see the colors. For Harley Quinn, I can choose that yellow. I can come over here and make sure I have that purple represented. Of course, that's the same yellow. And next to the purple, I kind of even see a little bit of coral there. So let's just assume that's my color palette. And that way I still have that, sherbet kind of feel to what was there before. So I have that one, I have the skin tone. And either way, you can add a message over here to the side of the face or over the lips. That's all up to you if you want to type text in there. I'm just showing you how you can quickly fill in this space, because some people will just print right across the front because that's all you'll see, and they leave this flap blank and white. But I think some of the clients do expect it to be printed all over. So I'm just showing you how you can use the template to achieve that. And that's it. If you have a pattern, of course, you can always pull a pattern in. I'll keep this one in here for you just so you understand how a pattern can be pulled in. But any print pattern that you have works. And turn on your guides to make sure that whatever you're putting here is going to work for your cutoffs, and you are good to go. And I'm going to see if anybody has any questions right now, just in case I can answer them live. Right now, just in case. Don't know how many people. Oh, y'all are live. What are y'all doing up? Yeah, I had to do this before I take my little 2-day restcation. I can't call it a vacation. Awesome. Good deal, Chrissy Poo. So this video is right on time. And I know a lot of you are getting your masks in, so I wanted to go ahead and make a quick video on how you would use the template. And if you downloaded the template previously, go ahead and repurchase the free template, put it in your cart again and check out and download this new one that I'm going to upload tonight, because it has these new layers in it that basically clip to the PNG version. So if you save this and you wanted to tile, let's say you have a large format printer or the 24-inch printer, you can tile these 4 to a page by basically laying it out like a pizza, like 4 pizza slices, and you don't have that white box around it. So that's why I updated this. And then some people were concerned about how to pull in graphics and what do they do about all the extra space. So I made a little cheat sheet for you. So you have a gradient, you have a solid color, you cannot go wrong. As a matter of fact, I can go ahead and put the Joker on and pretend like, hey, what if I only had this of Joker's face? Same deal here, and I'll just duplicate this so I keep the flesh tone for Harley Quinn and pull this one down. If this happens like this just did, it jumped out of my clipping path. One thing you can do, you can drop it back down into the clipping path, then pull it up and it stays clipped. Or let's say that happened, you can select, hold shift, select, and right click, create a clipping mask, and all of them will clip down to this bottom layer. And that's going to be really important that you learn about these clipping paths. If you're working in Photoshop, they will be lifesavers for you. So in this case, I'm going to turn off my flesh tone for Harley, and I'm going to double click here and see what I would grab, what color I would grab. And it would probably be more white, but you can also do a darker color. And I want you to imagine that the only thing that's going to be visible is pretty much from the ear holes down. So the other part will be flipped inside. So I want you to take some time, play with that. Show me what you're working with. I want to see what y'all are working on and working with. So even with the Joker, you can take that gradient, and if you don't want to mess up that gradient, you can go duplicate your gradient. Turn the sherbet colored one off and change this gradient out. So you might want to add maybe one of the darker colors, change that one, and grab some of the skin tone color. Take this one, grab the red. That didn't really grab the red. And maybe also, you don't see the green, so if you don't see it, you can always make it. I'm just guessing about what kind of green it is. Somewhere about like that. And maybe I'll take the red off because the red is only on the lips. I'll say okay to that. And maybe I'll change my gradient angle so that my green comes from the top. Say okay. And even though his face isn't there, I kind of get an idea that I have a little more than just a solid color. Okay, so you have that option. I want y'all to play with it. I'm going to delete everything except for the necessities here. And then y'all will have a beautiful file to play with. I will show you the other formats of the file for those of you who do not have Photoshop. If you have Affinity, you should still be able to open this file in Affinity, and you should still be able to edit the layers. So that's why I did not create a separate Affinity file. But let's go to the mask. We'll go to the templates. I'll show you what's in the free folder for the mask if you haven't already downloaded it. So here's the folder. I think you may have to log into your Gmail or create a Gmail. I'm not sure. Some people are saying that when they go to the page, it looks blank, but others, most people see these files when they open up that drive link, okay? So it is not just one file that you're downloading, it's a folder with files. So if you see it blank, there's probably something that's blocking on your computer, and I can't necessarily help everybody with that, especially for a free file. So in Innate Creatives group, go ahead and express what your issue is. Say that you're having trouble and it's showing blank, and if you're on a Mac, somebody with a Mac will be able to chime in and tell you, what they had to do to see it. If you're not a Google user or Gmail user, somebody might be able to say, hey, I had to sign in, create an ID through my Yahoo account, or whatever the case may be. But it will allow you to download each and every one of these files, or this entire folder if you want. So here's some other variations. You have a PNG. So you can open a PNG up in Paint. And I'm not going to show you how to design these in Paint. I'm just letting you know there's no excuse why you can't design. That's it, PNG. I'm pretty sure if you needed to place an image in there, image, I forget how to, I haven't used this program in probably about 30 years, like as far as use it as a main design program. But I know there's a way to copy and paste images and stuff in there. And of course you can fill colors with the bucket and all of that. I don't suggest you use this program. I'm just letting you know, at the very least, any design program, you'll be able to pull at least the PNG. And let me not save that. I also have the silhouette here. So some of you may want to cut out your own template from like the silhouette or the Cricut, and I provided a silhouette, so that'll be very easy for you to make the outlines for it and design inside of that space. Then I also have the cover with the bleed window. So if you're designing in a program like GIMP and the top layer is going to be this window, and you're going to put everything below that. You see how the inside is transparent, the outside is white. It's just a way for you to quickly be able to design these masks. Don't put too much into it. Don't put too much thought or time into these things. It's literally a drop and go type of application. And the more you spend on it, the less masks you'll be able to make, and the less help you'll be able to provide to folks. So keep it simple. Let's see if I have any questions. I can address those. Hey, Rona, what are you doing up? I thought you were going to bed before me. Yeah, I'm up. I knew I had to get this done for y'all. Okay, so do y'all have any questions on how to use this? I expected, we got a few masks out there now. I saw y'all getting, a few at a time, and y'all are really wanting to test these things out. So I want to see what you do with them. Please, please, please tag me if you post it. I don't care what group you post it in. Tag me so I can be proud of you and I can brag on you. And I would love, love, love to see what you all come up with. And as always, if you need any help, post your issues or the things that you want to be addressed in the Innate Creatives private Facebook group, and then someone should be able to get with you and help you solve that problem, because I'm not always so accessible. Technically, if you have a laser cutter, you probably could cut these. If you are using anything else, you probably won't be cutting these. This is a very stretchy material. It's almost impossible to cut with anything other than a laser or hand cutting, of course. Yes, and the stoles. I'm glad you mentioned that, Chrissy Poo. I know we're all behind. I think that's the story of all of our lives. As creatives, we're always running on fumes and running around for everyone else, and have plenty to do. But yes, the graduation stoles, I still have some left. They are going quickly though, so I would suggest if you want any of those before this season, because I'm not ordering anymore again with how fickle the trade situation has been and people stuff being held up in customs. I probably will not order stoles again, because if they get held up, I probably will have no use for them until the next graduation, which will be end of summer, hopefully for college anyhow. So yes, definitely order those, and I want to see what y'all do with those too. Okay. So that's it. That's the tutorial. Do y'all have any questions about, I can't show you what to do in Silhouette or Cricut Design Space or anything like that, but I can tell you that some of these other file formats, including SVG, because I've been told y'all can use SVG. So I use Illustrator, but there is a SVG. It looks exactly like this, and you'll be able to pull it into your programs, even if you pull the Silhouette into your craft cutting programs. That, because some of you design in Cricut and Silhouette and GIMP, and I'm trying to show you some simpler tools that you can use. You may not have all of the fancy bells and whistles like what we're doing here, but I'm just giving you those tools, okay? And what you do with it, I would love to see it. All right, so that's it for tonight, guys. I really am signing off this time. I just know I had to get this done for you. And I'm just checking to see if y'all have any questions before I let you go. Because normally if y'all have questions, somebody else is thinking the same thing. All right, good. No more questions. That means I can let y'all go to bed. And happy Mother's Day officially. It's Sunday. Happy Mother's Day, guys. And, well, ladies. And I hope you all enjoy your day full of love. Oh, D, where did you put the downloads? I will put the link. That's a very good question. I'll put the link in the description of this video, but you can also find it on the Innate Lab webpage. Just type in the word free. There'll be some free templates that pull up, and there is a mask template link for free. You have to put it in your cart. It's $0, but once you check out for $0, it'll be on your login. Go to my account, look on the left hand side, my downloadable products, and then you'll have that free template file. So I'm excited to see what you all come up with. Have something to show me when I log back into the real world on Tuesday, because I'm about to cut myself off to the world unless I have something really exciting to show y'all. Then I can't help it. I come out the woodwork. I'll probably be back online on Tuesday. I have a few people that I do have to answer questions for and solve a couple of problems. I'm going to work on this website finally and get it looking like I want to and hopefully functioning like I need it to. And we should be in business. You're welcome. All right, loves. Good night. I love you. I hope y'all have a very creative weekend and these next weeks to come. Make sure you stay happy, healthy, and safe. Logging out for now. I'll check y'all back soon.